No alarm clock, no phone, no clock on the wall at all. You wake up because the sun touches your face, and the moment your eyes open, your brain asks only one question: how do I survive today? No breakfast waiting in the fridge, no safe walls around you. Just open land, hidden danger, and a body that must find food before it gets dark again. This was daily life for early humans. So what did they actually do from the moment they opened their eyes to the moment they closed them again? Ancient humans did not choose when to wake up. Nature chose for them. As the sky turned from black to gray, the camp slowly came alive. People stretched, checked the fire, and listened carefully to the sounds around them. Before doing anything else, they needed to know one thing: was it safe? Predators hunted at night, so the first task of the morning was simple: look around, check for danger, and make sure everyone in the group was still there. The very first job of the day was almost always the fire. Someone had usually stayed close to it through the night, but by morning it needed more wood, and sometimes needed to be built back up from small embers. Without matches or lighters, starting a fire from nothing could take real time and effort. So keeping the fire alive was always easier than restarting it. This fire would cook their food, keep them warm, and protect them from animals all day and all night. Once the group felt safe, the day's tasks began to split. A small team of hunters usually left the camp first. They followed footprints, broken branches, and even animal droppings to figure out what was moving nearby. Hunting large animals was extremely dangerous, so hunters worked as a tight team, using simple spears and trusting each other completely to stay alive. This part of the day could take hours, and it did not always end with success. While hunters were away, others stayed closer to camp and gathered food, and this actually provided most of the group's daily meals. This job usually included women, children, and elders, searching for fruits, nuts, roots, seeds, and safe plants. They needed deep knowledge which plants were food and which were poison, which mushrooms were safe to eat. This information was taught carefully, again and again. By midday, this small group usually had baskets or bundles full of food, ready to bring back to camp. While the adults worked, children stayed close by, and their day was really one long lesson. They watched closely: how to find food, how to tell a safe plant from a dangerous one, how to notice danger before it got too close. Older children often helped care for younger ones, or tried small, simple tasks under an adult's watchful eye. There was no separate school time. Learning happened all day, mixed into everything the group did. Somewhere in the middle of the day, there was almost always time spent on tools. A stone spear point might crack during the hunt. A cutting tool might go dull after use. These things had to be fixed, or new ones had to be made. Making a good stone tool took real skill, choosing the right rock, then striking it at exact angles to shape a sharp edge. This work usually happened sitting near the camp, often while talking with others close by. Even during the calmest moments of the day, part of the brain always stayed alert. Large predators like lions, wolves, and bears were a real constant threat. So were other rival human groups competing for the same land and food. A strange sound in the bushes, movement in the tall grass, every unusual sign had to be checked immediately, no matter what task was happening at the time. This constant alertness was simply part of daily life. It never fully switched off. By late afternoon, the hunting team usually made their way back to camp. Sometimes they came back with meat to share. Other times, they returned with nothing at all, and the group had to rely completely on what the gatherers had found that day. Either way, the whole group usually gathered back together near the fire around this time. This was the moment the day's separate tasks finally came back together as one. With everyone back together, The next task was preparing whatever food had been found that day. Cooking meat and plants over the fire made food safer to eat and easier to chew and digest. The food was usually shared among everyone in the group. Sharing wasn't just kindness, it was a survival strategy, since some days brought more food than others. This meal, eaten together, was often the main event of the whole day. As night approached, the group's pace slowed down. This was usually the most relaxed part of the day. Elders often told stories about past hunts, about ancestors, about how the world came to be. These stories weren't just for fun. They passed down important lessons and warnings for survival to the younger members of the group. Without writing, this was how knowledge traveled from one generation to the next. As firelight became the only light left, the group did a final round of checks before settling down. The fire needed enough wood to last through the night. Tools and food had to be kept safe from animals. Everyone needed to be accounted for. This quiet routine, repeated every single evening, was just as important as anything done earlier in the day. When it was finally time to sleep, the group could not simply close their eyes and relax completely. People often took turns keeping watch through the night, making sure someone was always awake to protect the others. Sleeping close together near the fire gave both warmth and safety in numbers. And then, after a long day of finding food, staying alert, and working as a team, the group finally rested until the sun rose again and the same routine began once more. No clocks, no phones, no safety nets, just the sun, the fire, and a group of people who needed each other to survive, one single day at a time. Wake up, check for danger, hunt, gather, learn, build, watch, cook, share, tell stories, sleep, and begin again. That was the full circle of a single day, repeated over and over for hundreds of thousands of years.